Ethiopia, a land of ancient history and vibrant culture, holds a secret beneath its surface: vast, untapped oil reserves. These reserves, concentrated in the Ogaden Basin, have the potential to transform Ethiopia's economic future. Experts believe that Ethiopia could become a significant oil producer, rivaling some of the established players in the region. This newfound wealth could uplift millions from poverty and fuel Ethiopia's development ambitions. However, the path to realizing this potential is fraught with challenges. Ethiopia's oil reserves are located in a region known for its complex geopolitical landscape. Border disputes, internal conflicts, and regional tensions cast a long shadow over Ethiopia's oil ambitions. Navigating these challenges will require deft diplomacy, strategic alliances, and a commitment to peace and stability. The world is watching closely as Ethiopia embarks on this journey. The stakes are high, not just for Ethiopia but for the entire Horn of Africa. The discovery of oil could either be a blessing, ushering in an era of prosperity, or a curse, exacerbating existing conflicts and instability. Only time will tell which path Ethiopia will take. Recognizing the need for foreign expertise and capital, Ethiopia has rolled out the red carpet for international oil companies. The government has implemented investor-friendly policies, offering attractive exploration and production contracts. These efforts have borne fruit, with major Chinese and European companies signing exploration agreements in recent years. But extracting oil is only half the battle. Getting it to the global market requires significant infrastructure development. Ethiopia is landlocked, necessitating the construction of pipelines to ports in neighboring countries. Plans are already underway for a new pipeline to Djibouti, a crucial artery for Ethiopian exports. Furthermore, refineries need to be built to process crude oil into usable products. This will require further investment and technological expertise. Ethiopia's government is actively seeking partnerships to make this vision a reality. The success of these infrastructure projects will be critical in determining whether Ethiopia can fully capitalize on its oil wealth. Ethiopia's border with Sudan has long been a source of tension, and the discovery of oil has only amplified these disputes. The Al-Fashaga region, a fertile triangle of land claimed by both countries, has become a flashpoint. Both sides have deployed troops to the area, and skirmishes have erupted with alarming regularity. This border dispute has serious implications for Ethiopia's oil plans. The pipeline to Djibouti, essential for exporting oil, passes through Sudan. Any disruption to this pipeline, whether due to conflict or political maneuvering, could cripple Ethiopia's oil exports. Resolving the Al-Fashaga dispute is therefore not just a matter of territorial integrity, but also of economic security. The African Union and neighboring countries have called for a peaceful resolution to the conflict. However, progress has been slow, and tensions remain high. The international community must urge both sides to engage in dialogue and find a lasting solution to this dangerous dispute. To the east, Ethiopia faces another set of challenges in its relations with Somalia. Somalia's fragile government is grappling with a persistent insurgency by the Al-Shabaab militant group. This instability spills over into Ethiopia, threatening its security and economic interests. Adding another layer of complexity is the issue of Somaliland. This self-declared republic, which broke away from Somalia in 1991, has remained relatively stable. Ethiopia has cultivated close ties with Somaliland, even establishing a naval base on its coast. This has further strained relations with Somalia, which views Somaliland as a breakaway region. Ethiopia's engagement in Somalia is a delicate balancing act. It must support the Somali government's fight against terrorism, while also maintaining its strategic interests in Somaliland. Failure to strike this balance could further destabilize Somalia, with dire consequences for Ethiopia's own security and its oil ambitions. Section 5. Internal strife. A nation divided. Ethiopia's internal challenges are as daunting as its external threats. The country is home to a mosaic of ethnic groups, some of whom harbor long-standing grievances against the central government. These internal divisions have often erupted into violence, undermining stability and hindering development. The Tigray conflict, which began in 2020, is a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of ethnic strife. The conflict has resulted in a humanitarian catastrophe, displacing millions and claiming countless lives. While a ceasefire is in place, the underlying tensions remain, threatening to reignite the conflict. For Ethiopia to fully realize its oil potential, it must address these internal divisions. This requires fostering a more inclusive government that addresses the legitimate grievances of all ethnic groups. Failure to do so risks perpetuating a cycle of violence and instability, jeopardizing not just Ethiopia's oil wealth, but the very fabric of the nation. Section 6. Damming the Nile. A source of regional tension. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or GERD, a massive hydroelectric project on the Blue Nile, has become a major source of regional tension. Ethiopia views the dam as a vital source of energy for its development needs. However, downstream countries, particularly Egypt and Sudan, fear that the dam will reduce their share of the Nile's water, upon which they are heavily dependent. Negotiations between the three countries have been ongoing for over a decade, but a lasting solution remains elusive. The dispute has poisoned relations between these Nile Basin countries, hindering regional cooperation. The international community has called for a negotiated settlement, but progress has been slow. The GERD dispute highlights the interconnectedness of water and energy security in the region. Finding a way to share the Nile's waters equitably is not just an environmental imperative, but also essential for maintaining peace and stability in the Horn of Africa. Section 7. Great Power Politics, a New Scramble for Africa. Ethiopia's untapped oil reserves have not gone unnoticed by the international community. Global powers, including the United States and China, are increasingly vying for influence in the Horn of Africa, driven in part by their thirst for energy resources. China, with its insatiable appetite for raw materials, has invested heavily in Ethiopia's infrastructure, including roads, railways, and telecommunications. The United States, on the other hand, has traditionally been a major security partner for Ethiopia, providing military aid and training. However, relations between the two countries have cooled in recent years due to concerns over human rights abuses during the Tigray conflict. This great power competition, while potentially beneficial for Ethiopia in attracting investment, also carries risks. Ethiopia could become a pawn in a geopolitical chess game, its interests subordinated to those of its powerful patrons. It is therefore crucial for Ethiopia to maintain its strategic autonomy, playing different powers against each other to secure the best deals for its people. Section 8. The Ankara Declaration, a Glimmer of Hope. Amidst the geopolitical complexities, there have been some glimmers of hope. The Ankara Declaration, signed by Ethiopia and Somalia in December 2024, offered a potential path towards easing tensions. Brokered by Turkey, the agreement aims to secure Ethiopia's access to the Red Sea through Somali ports, a vital lifeline for its landlocked economy. The declaration, if implemented faithfully, could be a game-changer. It could pave the way for increased trade and economic cooperation between Ethiopia and Somalia, benefiting both nations. However, significant challenges remain, including the threat posed by al-Shabaab and the need to build trust between the two countries. The Ankara Declaration is a testament to the power of diplomacy. It demonstrates that even the most intractable conflicts can be resolved through dialogue and a willingness to compromise. The international community must support this fragile peace process and encourage all parties to abide by their commitments. Section 9. Diplomacy, the only path to prosperity. Ethiopia stands at a crossroads. Its vast oil reserves hold the promise of transforming its economy and uplifting millions from poverty. However, realizing this potential will require navigating a treacherous geopolitical landscape. Border disputes, internal conflicts, regional tensions, and great power rivalries threaten to derail Ethiopia's ambitions. In this complex environment, diplomacy is not just an option, it is an imperative. Ethiopia must engage in skillful diplomacy to resolve its differences with its neighbors, build trust, and foster regional cooperation. It must address its internal divisions through dialogue and reconciliation, ensuring that all ethnic groups feel a sense of belonging and shared destiny. The international community has a crucial role to play in supporting Ethiopia's journey. It must provide constructive mediation, encourage dialogue, and provide technical and financial assistance to help Ethiopia overcome its challenges. The world must stand with Ethiopia, not just for the sake of its people, but for the stability and prosperity of the entire Horn of Africa.